Hello, it's PJ
And Ethan.
on the Poverty Franchise Podcast. Today, it's going to be a very heavy football episode because, again, American sports. The Blackhawks are not in the playoffs, so I'm not watching hockey. Baseball is beginning the dog days of summer, so shit's about to get real boring.
Indeed.
It's going to be the slog, where men hit ball with bat. So, we're talking, and OTAs have just started in the NFL. So, again, not many moves happening. After OTAs, before training camps, we're going to start maybe see the surprise cut or the weird odd trade because they're trying to save money, not trying to pay out some there. They see something's obviously not going to work. We'll get to that later whenever that happens, but not much goes on at OTAs unless you're a super fan. You're really seeing undrafted dudes stick on practice squads there maybe or get their foot in the door, so not much to talk about.
True.
We'll get to the NBA playoffs later, but first we have to talk about the last day shenanigans that happened last weekend.
Yes. Our resident Manchester City fan was
I went through it. I fucking went through it. I went through the ringer. They bottled it, and then they didn't bottle it.
my team sitting solidly in third place.
Ethan, once again, on the couch, sofa, watching.
We have secured our Champions League spot. Hence, I was just watching the drama unfold.
Liverpool, I was watching both games. Both games were great games. Wolverhampton opened up early, but the firepower of Liverpool, Salah thought he did it.
Really did.
He really thought he had the moment. He did not. But, what a final day. Lots of other things happened. Tottenham secured the last Champions League spot.
They did. They beat out Arsenal and Manchester United.
Finishing in fourth, so they get the Champions League spot. Arsenal and Man U are playing Europa League ball next year, and West Ham misses out on the two competitions with any sort of prestige, and they get to play in the shit Conference League.
True.
It would have been hilarious if Man U was there, but they aren't, so I'm sad.
Yeah, somehow they were able to salvage that situation.
Ten Hag, he looked at that, and they saw them lose 1-0 to Crystal Palace. You think he's like, damn. Took the wrong job off of a pretty decent Zaha goal, I will say.
Yeah, he had a great stint with Ajax, so I think he has a lot of work to do. I think he's a solid manager who's bringing his own idea of a culture, so maybe he can turn things around. I'm hoping he's not the second coming of Ole Gunnar Solskjaer.
Newcastle going from 19th before when January is up to 11th. And the finishing position is a real good story. The Saudi money doing wonders.
The Saudi money.
Let's see how crazy they go this summer. Probably not that crazy since no one still wants to play for Newcastle.
True.
But better than expected. Leicester missed out on European football for the Brighton finishes 9th with 51 points. Their best finish ever in the Prem. Wolves, I'm going to call the new Southampton. They're 10th.
They're 10th. Oh, no.
Constantly 12th to 10th. As the aforementioned Newcastle in 11th. Crystal Palace finishing number 12 in the table. Your little brother team.
Oh, yes. We love to see Crystal Palace sticking around.
Brentford in their first season in the top flight since the 40s, finishing 13th.
Staying safe.
Aston Villa finishing end of the season pretty strong, but 14th. Southampton uncharacteristically close to danger in 15th. Everton not fucking up and going down. That's why they rushed the field there, because that would have been a tragedy.
That would have been awful. A lot of history there
and then
preserved.
The other drama of the last day, Burnley goes down and leads, and our boy Jesse Marsh stays up.
You love to see it. We like to see American success.
And then they went and signed an American who I already forgot his name immediately after. But Burnley goes down. Burnley fires their manager. They're going to probably bring in Vincent Kompany. Vincent Kompany, they finished 4th and 5th in the Pro League with Anderlecht with the last 2 seasons he's been managing. I think and then there was one season he was the player manager. It was weird, like player assistant, something like that. I don't know the specifics.
So he's coming in with some experience.
But championship football, I think, is about on par to the Belgian Pro League, I'd say. In terms of when you look at the totality of the league.
I would think so.
Championship football is not like world renowned or anything. I'm not going the front.
Not at all. But I mean, given the way that teams move up and down from the Premier League, I might give it an edge up over the Belgian Pro League. But That's highly debatable.
And that's only because I'm only talking. I'm not like the winner of the Belgian Pro League is better than any championship league. I'd say league team because winners of the Belgian Pro League can go win a game in Europe.
They do.
Fulham isn't winning shit in Europe.
They try really hard.
They try
but they're
really
not getting
hard.
there.
In terms of the championship, Nottingham and Huddersfield have still not played as of this recording, so we do not know the third and final team going up to the Prem. Again, Nottingham Forest would be the great story because, again, they'd be like automatically third in European Cups in the Premier League just by virtue of they won 2 in a row back in the 70s.
You always love to see history coming back into the fold.
And then to Serie A, Milan is red.
Milan is red. The Rossoneri rule again.
The right color. Milan finish after Inter bottled it 2 weeks ago off of that horrendous gaffe by not Samir Handanovic.
Yes.
Wasn't he hurt or something at that time? Or was it just an off day for Samir?
It'll lose
It wasn't Samir playing.
It was not Samir Handanovic playing.
Because if Samir Handanovic was playing, that shit wouldn't have happened. Y'all would have not have won a title.
True. But he was not playing.
And they just extended him for 2 more years, actually.
Indeed.
And I mean, for a 35-year-old goalkeeper, it is a bit of a risk, but Samir Handanovic is good at his job. Just like Neuer is good at his job, and Bayern also extended him.
And goalkeepers certainly have the longest longevity for a player career in football.
As long as they can play the ball and have their good reflexes, they're fine. And you put some decent men out in front of them.
True, and 80% of goalkeeping, I feel like, is positioning.
Yeah.
So, with experience, good
athleticism
goalkeepers...
bails you out.
True.
Athleticism and measurables are bailouts.
Very much so.
Like Courtois' long limb ass is a bailout.
That's why Buffon was able to be a top-level goalkeeper
even though
age 40.
And even though he was also a tad undersized.
True.
And that's what makes Donnarumma so goddamn menacing. He's a long-limbed bitch who also happens to be...
intelligent.
Yes. Unlike FIFA god Asmir Begovic.
Asmir Begovic.
Opened some wounds. Chelsea backup.
Chelsea backup.
Stoke starter. He got his job.
True.
Thank God he got his job taken twice. Got his job taken by Butlin.
Jaguarlin.
And Kepa of all people. Not Kepa. Czech old.
Peter Cech.
Coming back. Not yet. I'm not retiring yet.
You love to see it. But going back to Inter and their goalkeeper situation, they did just pick up Andre Onana. The Ajax goalkeeper who was formerly suspended due to PEDs.
Oh, yes. Oh, yeah, he was on the come-up. But, I mean, he's going to be a solid number 2 or the successor for Handanovic after his contract ends. Or to give Handanovic rest since he is in his mid-30s in less consequential games.
Although, as a biased fan, I would hope that, maybe he's off his game for the most part after having that suspension.
Yes. Napoli finished 3rd. Juventus does not miss out on the Champions League spot. They do finish 4th, which is good for their fan base and their money.
I suppose so.
I think this is probably other than Man U finishing in Europa League ball, is probably the most disappointing season in Europe. In terms of domestic success, PSG definitely had the most
of course,
disappointing season because they should be playing a Champions League final right now.
But
they should have won the league 6 weeks ago.
Yeah, that's true. But granted, they did win it.
But by domestic performance only, I think Juventus is probably the biggest disappointment. Juventus, and I'd stretch to say Leicester, to finishing out of a European spot from how hot they start out the gates almost every year.
I could throw Tottenham in there too, bringing in Antonio Conte.
And only scraping by and forth.
Yeah.
But I think Juventus is the biggest disappointment. These are perennial title contenders. This is basically Bayern fucking loses the league. Like, that's the level this is at. And it wasn't even close. They didn't lose on the last day. They didn't lose by 6. They're down 16 points to Milan.
They were out of the race for a long time.
For like 8 weeks, effectively.
It was between like the Milan clubs, and then Napoli
was trying.
Napoli was sneaking around in the back, seeing if someone would fall out.
Sadly, our boys in Roma cannot finish over Lazio. We do not get to smoke on the fascist pack today. Lazio finished 5th. Roma gets 6th. They both get Europa League spots. Fiorentina gets the shit league. Atalanta, after coming to the Champions League semifinal, if I'm not mistaken, right? Last season, finished 8th and miss out on European ball.
That's surprising. I mean, they
didn't lose that much talent either in the last. They added in the last transfer window.
They made some good transfers, and they've been such a strong club in recent years.
I think Italy just got more competitive on them.
Italy might have gotten more competitive.
I mean,
for
Milan shooting back up to the top. Fiorentina competing.
Yeah, Fiorentina becoming such a competitor was definitely a surprise.
And then Venezia, Genoa, and Cagliari go down in Serie A. A couple clubs I know of, I'm not gonna. I don't know who Venezia is, but I do know who Genoa and Cagliari are.
Genoa and Cagliari have been in the Serie A for a couple of seasons now.
But it is what it is. On to the transfer window. If the college transfer window. Also, Jordan Addison did go to USC, by the way. They did figure it out. He got his house. Lincoln Riley bought him his house.
Oh, nice.
He's going to get the real USC in California. They're a dangerous football team, but they play in the Pac-12. They'll get 50-pieced by Alabama in the playoff. It's fine. Football transfer window.
On to football.
Philip Coutinho made a permanent deal, $20 million. For $20 million, one of the biggest transfer losses of all time.
Oh, how far he's fallen, I suppose.
But good pickup for Aston, good pickup for Steven.
Very much so. A creative midfielder can jumpstart the attack for him. I think he'll definitely love to use him. Gets to pair him alongside Boubacar Kamara, who's also recently acquired.
Yes. That's a good midfield pairing. We'll have to see how people coming from Ligue 1 to the Prem do always, because it is a big jump in terms of competition. Because now you have the 14th place team having a pretty solid midfield.
Definitely so. Prem. And he's coming from, well, you could say he's a top 5 team in Ligue 1, and he's going to what is the 14th team in the Premier League. So it's definitely what seems like a step down in terms of team quality for him.
Yeah. But that tells you what the 14th place team in Ligue 1 is like.
That is true.
Karim Adeyemi going from Salzburg to Dortmund. Dortmund making lots of moves, spending the Holland money quickly. From all the wage savings that they saved on. Nicolas Sewell in the middle. That does help their center back issues because Zagadou and Akanji pairing with, and then with
they've been
Hummel.
very lackluster.
I mean, everyone next to Hummels hasn't really. I mean, Akanji and Zagadou were young players. They were meant to step up in that second center back role. Plus, you're gonna need. I mean, Sewell's not a long term answer.
Doesn't seem like it. Hence why he was moved out of the rotation in Bayern. So we'll see how that stopgap works. But I mean, it certainly gives them depth. Hopefully, it'll help them make a push for the title.
Oh yes, Mbappe chose PSG. Yes, of course.
He chose PSG. The transfer saga of the year has ended.
Of him starting a bidding war and driving up his price to astronomical numbers. What's he getting paid? Like half a mil a week? Something like that?
Yes, just about that.
It's €500,000, right? So it's like 575 USD.
Yes. That's a week, my friends.
That's a week. Before endorsements.
Yes.
Before bonuses.
A week. That's his wage, a week.
Him and Benzema beefing on the French national team. Benzema can never stop beefing with people on the French national team. He finally comes betrayed. He finally comes back into the fray. He finally got his spot back from Gignac and Giroud.
I guess he can.
That would make me shitty too. If I was the player of Benzema's quality, I know he blackmailed Vallembreno. We get that. I understand that. But if I had to sit here and watch fucking Gignac take my spot on a Euro and World Cup team, I'd be pissed. He was playing for Tigres.
Yeah, I don't know what's up with the French national team and making really odd selections.
With their internal politics.
Yeah, of course you have Gignac and
the Laporte saga.
And then Laporte.
Because it's just really weird. Just not liking.
Well, for Laporte, it was just Didier Deschamps really likes. He has a very specific type of center back that he likes. It's the athletic one. That's why he likes Raphael Varane and Presnel Kimpembe.
Even though Kimpembe's brain is nowhere near Laporte's.
No. That's why I'm glad that. I think it's a great move for Laporte playing for the Spanish national team. It's perfect for him.
Yes.
It's perfect for Spain.
But yeah, it finally changed. I mean, Real Madrid. Segues next to the next point of Champions League final. Real Madrid versus Liverpool. They're playing for the Champions League. First, who do you think is going to win?
Real Madrid.
I think the bad man does bad man things.
I think it's Real Madrid.
They're bad men now. Vinicius Jr. is also in the bad man category.
Vinicius on Trent Alexander-Arnold is an awful matchup. for Liverpool. It's great for Real Madrid.
Oh yes, because we saw that what he was doing to my boys in blue. Oh, just cooked anyone out there. Because Kyle Walker was hurt, and then I was in pain. Because it was just John Stones for 30 minutes. I tried. I did it good, right? The second Fernandinho walked on the field. Vinicius ran by.
And Trent's fast. Don't get me wrong. It's just that he does not play very good defense.
Vinicius is but then the bad man himself, and the man in the middle.
Counting Benzema.
The baddest of men.
The bloopers of Alisson making mistakes playing out of the backfield are already arising. The memes are everywhere now.
And also Fabinho may not be in game shape for Liverpool as well. Real Madrid do not have any injuries that I know of going into the game. And they say Bale and Hazard are available.
So I guess Real Madrid's at full strength, and
because Bale definitely wants his swan song. Hazard looks like he's gonna. I think they want to keep Hazard, if I'm not mistaken, right?
I think it's a mutual agreement from both sides to stick with it. Hazard wants to stay, and I think Real Madrid want to see what he can do for the rest of his contract, at least.
Just to see, because I mean, his value isn't getting any better. It's
not at all.
You might as well keep. He's still, when he's healthy, he's still one of the most talented players on earth,
as we've seen for sure. And Real Madrid are in a good spot financially, so they don't need to make any fire sales.
Yeah, and I mean, again, they don't have Mbappe, and then they're also playing for Sadio Mane, the Mbappe backup plan, which seemed like to be the Mbappe backup plan for both teams.
That is true, considering both teams were jockeying for
Liverpool's like, damn, I guess we gotta keep Mane now. Shit.
So whoever wins the Champions League final will probably also win Sadio Mane. Granted that he said he's going to wait to make his decision until after.
It depends how bad they lose. It depends if they lose like Jurgen Klopp subbing him off, and then like Real Madrid scores the winner, and Sadio's just sitting there on the bench shitty. Then he might as well just stay. He might as well just go to Madrid then.
I feel like there's gonna be a play where like they're running a break, and Sadio Mane is like wide open on like the right, and Mohamed Salah is running along, and he doesn't see him, and he shoots it.
No, he plays it to Henderson.
He plays it to Henderson. That would be like the final straw. Like, I'm going to Madrid.
And we'll have to see a couple notable European players going to MLS. Chiellini looks like the LAFC deal might as well be done.
It's definitely coming to fruition.
You're going to be playing in El Trafico. That's a long way from the Turin Derby.
Certainly is, but I think it's fantastic for him at 37.
Also, Chelsea selling all their defenders, plus the Ziyech sale might go down this year. What team could use Ziyech? Like, what team on top of your head?
Ziyech?
Should Ziyech leave the Prem?
That's tough. I'm not sure. He's a very interesting player, considering that he plays on the outside, yet lacks the typical pace of a winger.
Yeah. But I'm trying to think of what team could use him. We gotta talk about Liverpool signing Fabio Carvalho from Fulham. Fulham are already just losing a good player right out. They don't even get to play a game yet, and they suffering.
They really are suffering.
I mean, he's more of a stash him. He can play sparingly. He's more of in the Miyamino, the Japanese dude for Liverpool, where he doesn't play. Where it's more of the future because I mean, Salah's on the wrong side of 30. They might lose Mane. Yeah. Firmino, hasn't been the best. You don't know how Diego Jota and them are going to really pan out in the long
Diego Jota looks good. But he seems more like a central player, a replacement for Bobby Firmino. So I don't think he fits that wide
Does Fabinho just look old?
Firmino?
No, not Firmino. Fabinho.
Oh, Fabinho?
Does he just look old? He's not that old, right?
No.
Okay, he just looks old. Okay,
he just looks slightly old. It's because he has like a mustache,
and he's bald. Yeah, okay. Yeah. Traore is not. He's coming back to Wolves. Barca did not trigger his buy clause. Seems
a little bit too high for them given their financial situation.
Good for Wolves though. I mean, they do
get the power up. They do need him for sure.
I mean, I wouldn't want to start Wei Chan at winger. I'd rather start Traore.
True.
Chan is a good depth piece though. So.
Definitely. And I think he can develop into somebody who starts eventually, just not at the moment.
Dortmund signed a new manager, Edwin Tezerich. He was the interim.
They retained him. They liked what he did in the time that he was managing for them, so hopefully he can do good things with full control of the team.
Oh, it was Brendan Anderson from Salzburg going to Leeds for 30 million.
Hopefully he develops into a great defender. We need them.
No, I always forget actually how large of a club Leeds is in terms of membership and fans in Europe and England. They're actually a relatively big club.
Because they've been around for a surprisingly long time if you're not familiar with the Premier League.
And we go to Fabrizio's Twitter just to see if we missed anything because he's
Just
smarter
to see
than
what's
us.
going on.
Ryan
more
Gravenberch, we did
connections.
talk about that before we came on.
Ryan Gravenberch, a great Dutch midfielder coming up. Sad to see that he's going to Bayern like almost everyone does these days, but it's a big club. Hopefully he can break through that large midfield rotation.
Chelsea getting their men. They're getting it. Jules Koundé probably.
It's looking optimistic. There's
Was
nothing really set in
Koulibaly
stone.
ever this optimistic?
No.
Okay.
I don't think so. I feel like our board is very aggressive with this
And
transfer.
does Koulibaly never get his big move? Does he always stay at Napoli?
I don't think he always stays at Napoli, but I'm not sure he gets a big move. If he's going to move to a large club, it's going to happen soon.
No, I don't think it'll happen. I think it'll happen in January in an injury crisis or something like that. Like a team that's struggling to keep a Europe spot needs a center back, and they'll pay a premium at that time.
Or, granted, I think that he could potentially be one of the signings that Spurs makes with their new large transfer budget.
With their $180 million.
$100
Also, Chelsea is now legitimately free.
We are indeed free.
The UK government finally said, damn, y'all niggas can do business.
They've officially let the club take over, give management to the new owners.
We gotta talk about how Peter Cech really ran the club on a shoestring budget
He did an incredible
for 2
job.
months.
He did an incredible
They're
job.
like, damn, we may not have a bus, but we playing games. We'll drive though.
I hope Todd Bowley decides to leave the reins with Peter Cech.
And then it just LA Dodgers it. Here's money.
Here's
damn.
money.
Go spend.
This is your budget. Do what you need to.
Newcastle extended their Sean Longstaff, the manager, right?
Yes, the manager.
Yeah, Eddie Howe is fine because he's still the president at Newcastle. The Saudi money came in.
Right.
He did a good job with the club, Sean Longstaff. Again, they were damn near bottom. And I think we talked about wouldn't be fucking hilarious if they went down with all the money.
Right. It
They
would have
did
been
though.
awful.
They finished
didn't.
11th.
They did move up the table.
Again, but I just don't think. I think Newcastle is an expensive mid-table team. I think they're going to be West Ham. They're going to be Leicester. They're going to be Wolverhampton. They spend money. They have flashy signings. But at the end of the day,
I'm not sure if they have flashy signings.
I think they're going to. Other than St. Maximum, of course, but St. Maximum is
True.
only because he has drip. He's Kelly Oubre of soccer.
He's the Kelly Oubre of soccer. He really is, though.
He wears random Supreme and Gucci shit and is saucy.
Saucy.
But he mid.
He's not.
He's the
incredible.
definition of mid.
Yeah, I suppose so.
He's a decent role player.
He has potential to not be mid anymore, but his window's closing for that. But Sean Longstaff is a solid manager. I just don't think that they're gonna become a premier club with him at the helm.
No, he's not. We should talk about Zlatan. It might have been his last game last week, and that's a hell of a career if it was.
That's a heck of a career.
I don't know if he goes out like this though. It's not Zlatan of him, but he did say he would stop playing when his health.
And his health is certainly deteriorating. His availability's declined over the years.
It's the way he's played, I guess. It's finally catching up with him.
He made some incredibly dynamic plays, but given his frame and body type, it's very stressful on his body.
Yeah, and then you magnify that he's been playing professionally since 17, 18.
So,
and he's been playing international ball, competing every year, European ball. There's a lot of extra games on those bones doing
Indeed.
the shit he did.
So that's hundreds of games for two decades.
But truly, again, the third best player of our generation, really.
Truly, if you think about it.
If you really sit down and think about it, it's whatever combination of Ronaldo and Messi you want at 1 and 2. In our generation, I say we start at about when we were cognizant. So I was 2 when Ronaldo was playing, the OG one. I was 2.
I did not see.
I was goo goo gaga. I didn't know. We lived in America. We didn't even if I wanted to watch him, I couldn't.
I could not. It was not available to me.
Unless you were rich or actually Brazilian and you like had the special Brazilian satellite to watch him. But like in terms of what we watch, Zlatan's definitely the third best player
Right.
I've ever seen.
He's done some incredible things.
And then probably to end the fantastical transfer talk, was Lewandowski actually signed with Barca? Does the deal go through?
It depends on the fair play verdict from FIFA.
And the Frankie de Jong part has to be sold for this to happen. Definitely, that's I feel like that's a minimum. It may still not work, but minimally they'll need to sell him for not a considerable amount, but an okay amount.
I'm not sure. I don't think they would sell Frankie de Jong for Lewandowski. As great a player as he is 33. Frankie de Jong is your young midfielder that you build your team around.
Yeah.
I would hate for them to lose that central piece, especially
And Barca aren't
for a manager like Xavi.
Barca aren't a striker away.
They're
from
not.
winning La Liga and competing for Champions League.
If they were, Aubameyang probably would have solved the issue.
Yeah, but it didn't. Cause sure, you got good wingers.
They have a plethora of players who are still coming into their own.
Like Pedri's in his own, and he just runs. He does cardio.
Pedri, Frankie de Jong, Ferran Torres,
Fati.
Ansu Fati, potentially Ousmane Dembele if he decides to stick around. That saga is still ongoing.
Oh my God! Arsenal extended Mo Elneny.
Yes, they did indeed extend Mohamed Elneny.
Egyptian Fellaini.
Egyptian Fellaini. Mohamed Salah's running mate on the Egyptian national team.
This is really Thani's. Except it's not his little brother. Hey, yo, just keep one of my homies on the team.
Keep one of my homies on the team, please.
Please. Well, keep one of my homies in the league. Like, just think that Arsenal, my Emery just caused Salah. He good? Shit, I guess, yeah.
I guess so. Yeah, sure. But I think Frankie de Jong is definitely priority. Lewandowski seems low on the list for Barcelona. I'm not sure that pushes through.
Yeah, I'll probably end up staying at Bayern where he belongs.
Yeah.
I can't really see him in any other jersey.
I could definitely see him in a Barcelona jersey. It's just not in the state that Barcelona are in right now.
Tottenham's needs really are everything that's not Heung-min Son and Harry Kane.
I suppose so. You can make an argument.
And Kuvalevsky.
Oh, yeah, they did get Dejan Kulusevski, so he's on the way. But, I mean, you can make an argument that Kane needs a backup, given his performances lately.
And I also just thank the Jesus heavens that we got Haaland and did not sign Harry Kane. It's Harry Kane and Pep's system would be, oh shit.
Harry Kane would be riding the bench.
You know what that signing would remind me of? Remember the Wilfred Bonny signing that City did?
Oh my goodness.
Yes,
I remember that exact.
One of the worst signings. I purged that from my memory.
Was that really the worst signing Joel made?
I think the worst signing is definitely Mangala.
Okay, yeah, that's
or
true.
Robinho from back in the...
I think Mangala. And then
Mangala's fit was 45 million euros.
That's the thing. That's why it's probably the worst one.
I think he was the most expensive center back, actually, at the
time he was.
Yeah. And he was a complete fucking bust.
That was at a time when dudes like Vidic were still running around.
No, Vidic was... You still had, like... John Terry was still around, though. Holy shit.
Oh, yeah, that was...
John Terry!
Shagging
your wife. Shagging your wife. That chant gets me every time I think about John Terry. Again, Chelsea really went from John Terry and Gary Cahill to Rudiger hustling around and Thiago Silva.
Yeah, and then we thought we had a backup plan with Kurt Zuma. We alas did not have a backup plan with Kurt Zuma.
Kurt Zuma, I mean, bad human being. So, like, y'all dodged a bullet on that one.
We did dodge a bullet with that one, I suppose. But, yeah, we have no defenders until Jules Koundé comes in, since Barcelona are taking both Azpilicueta and Marcos Alonso.
I mean, good for Marcos Alonso, as the Twitter meme put it best. How can you explain that this dude is our best finisher, but our worst defender, and he plays left back?
I personally dislike him. So I'm glad that he's leaving my team. I'm sad that he's going to another team that I support. But alas, I think Javi can figure out how to use him efficiently.
Yes.
I hope that Reece
James extension. You think that's a main priority for Chelsea? That should be the number one.
That's certainly a priority, but it's tough to bid against Real Madrid.
Well, Chelsea has a lot of. They probably have one of the most fluid transfer situations in Europe, in the world. I'd say they have so many pieces that could be in flux. Pulisic might want out.
Definitely.
And do you facilitate? Does Tuchel work it out? Because Tuchel likes Pulisic, and I think Pulisic likes Tuchel. I think Pulisic feels, rightly so, that he's better than a bench player now.
I definitely think so.
Because Tuchel, I think, started Pulisic at Dortmund because there was fuck all better.
And I think if they move on from other players like Ziyech, then it'll give more room.
The crowded forward room.
Yeah, it'll give more room for Pulisic to get playing time. So I think that could potentially be a situation that's optimistic for him.
But again, y'all need defenders at the end of the day.
We do need defenders.
Y'all need defenders. Y'all don't need forwards.
Not at all.
I mean, y'all could use a striker, but Lukaku could also show up to work.
Yeah, I think if Lukaku can mesh with the team.
Gotta be with you, lads.
Frankly, we have Kai Havertz holding down the fort at striker at the moment.
Which is, again, Kai Havertz...
Hey, it's working.
It's working, but he ain't a striker.
He really is not a striker. I'd like to see him in a more creative on-ball role.
And then I think the other the fluid one's Arsenal, because, again, a lot of pieces moving in and out. A very fluid situation. I mean, Emery's staying another season.
Emery somehow saved his job.
Emery's seat is fucking hot though. If they come out the gates poor, next season gone.
His seat is on fire, dude.
He has to start out competing for the fucking title to keep his job, I think. Which when I actually sit down and look at Arsenal's talent, is actually a very unfair.
Yeah, the talent is not there yet. There's a lot of young players.
It's not City. It's not Liverpool. It's not Chelsea. Even though Chelsea's going through flux, Chelsea has title-winning talent on their team.
I think Arsenal's situation is very similar to Barcelona's, where they have a lot of young players who can come in and potentially be good in the coming years, but they're not going to be getting you perennial Champions Leagues at the moment.
Yeah, and I think, again, the most interesting part of the Prem really is which of the teams is going to miss out on that fourth place spot. Yes. I think City and Liverpool are locks for top four unless injury waves or for some reason they lose the locker room.
For sure.
Which is very possible in soccer. I think, again, American sports, they just lose locker rooms in like 4 months. It's crazy. Much faster than any American sport, other than I think the NBA is probably the only comparison where people can lose a locker room that fast. NFL,
for sure. Looking at the Lakers,
the NFL, it usually takes like 2 seasons unless you're Urban Meyer. You have to be like exceptionally terrible to lose a locker room in a season in the NFL. I can only think of 2 dudes who really completely lost. They're both college coaches, which is ironic. Urban Meyer and your favorite Falcons, Mr. Pitino, who's I still think the worst head coach in NFL history.
That's a fair argument.
I think he's worse than Urban only because at least Urban kicked his players. Never mind. Shit. He did kick Josh Lamb. I forgot about that. Damn.
I mean...
I'm just saying that Jose Mourinho in America would be fucking hilarious. Please, when Jose Mourinho is like a crotchety old man, he's managing the MLS.
That would be hilarious, just for the amount of crap that he'd give the MLS players.
The amount of shit he'd say. The sound bites. Oh my god. It'd be hilarious.
That's what I love and hate about Mourinho is because his players either absolutely love him or they hate him.
He's one of those that you have to completely buy into it.
Yes.
Same with Pep, because I remember when he first took over City, there was there was rumors coming out they're bored of the fucking film sessions, this and that. Right. But winning cures that. But there's a certain type of player that likes Pep Guardiola, and we found it out when, again, they made one of the few trades in soccer history, and it backfired.
Yeah.
Because, Barcelona traded one of their best strikers of all time, Samuel
Eto'o, yeah.
For Zlatan, with money attached. It was basically a straight-up trade.
And it was worse.
Zlatan had a good season. That was the weirdest part about it. On all, metrics, stats-wise, Zlatan had a great season. But, as Zlatan said, you don't buy a Ferrari to drive it like a Fiat.
Like a Fiat.
Yeah, it was like a Fiat. Because I think that's also part because Zlatan could not play second fiddle to Messi. Zlatan's personality does not allow that. Especially mid-20s prime Zlatan.
I think so, yeah. He was very much he wanted to very much be a focal point for the team.
Like he was in Italy.
Like he was on most of all of his teams, yeah.
Well, moving on. The NBA playoffs. The conference finals. They've been kind of a bore.
The quarterfinals were much more entertaining.
The games have been bad. The Celtics Heat have been just trading blowouts with each other. The Warriors have just been doing the blowing out, except for last night. I think the Warriors get the gentleman's sweep and get the Mavericks on out of there next game.
I definitely could see that.
And then Steph Curry then we have to deal with, is Steph Curry the GOAT point guard? No. I'm sorry. He's not Magic Johnson. We're not going to get in that discussion. I don't care how many rings. I just know that I'm right and everyone else is wrong.
As a Lakers fan, I'll back that statement.
No, I don't think Steph Curry is as good as facilitator as Magic Johnson. I think Steph Curry, as great as he is, he's definitely making the stake for number 2. Steph Curry needed a system to help him. Magic Johnson was the system.
Yeah, because it comes down to the thing about...
And defense. I really ignore defense. Magic Johnson's defense was spectacular.
Considering that he defended centers as well as point guards.
He played center and won Finals MVP as a rookie. He played center in a pinch. In the finals.
That's when he made his debut.
Against Chocolate Thunder, Daryl Dawkins.
And held his own entirely.
Yes.
But when you think about talking about the best point guard, you have to look at the position and what it entails, and that's facilitating. And I think Magic Johnson's definitely miles ahead of almost everyone.
Yes.
And including Steph Curry.
There's not many flashier. It's not about flashy passes. Jason Williams had the flashiest passes of all. It's ironic I am wearing a Jason Williams jersey right now. He had the flashiest pass package in NBA history, even flashier than Pistol Pete. But then they turned over the ball 4 or 5 times a game, and he became a better player when he went to the Heat. And Dwayne Wade was like, "Yo, just pass, damn,
pass normally,
pass, bounce pass." None of this behind the back, around elbow, corner, no look shit. Just pass Shaq the Rock inside. Damn.
And hey, it worked.
And he got a ring, so. Also, the best fun fact about Jason Williams ever is that him and Randy Moss were in played high school basketball together.
Oh.
They were on the same high school team.
That team must have been incredibly entertaining to watch.
Oh, yes. Just Jason Williams doing some between the leg, full court pass, lob to Randy Moss. Randy Moss was also was probably an NBA level talent basketball player too. Randy Moss,
for sure.
Randy Moss is one of the best athletes in American history.
I can imagine him being I don't know what his skills were like, but at least a 4-star recruit coming out of high school.
Yeah.
For basketball.
And again, he only went to Marshall. Now we're going to little just random sports bullshittery. He only went to Marshall because of the weed shit. And Marshall was an FCS school at the time. So it doesn't sound bad like nowadays because Marshall's FBS.
Marshall has moved up.
But back then, they were an FCS program that was not so far removed from their team dying in a plane crash.
Yeah. So.
And he scored a touchdown every game.
Granted, it wasn't the FCS of the time, but.
But he scored a touchdown in every college game he played in. You know how insane for a wide receiver you have to be to do that? And that's why that's why he was drafted so high, and that's why he's the second best receiver of all time, or best talent wise, best NFL wide receiver, hands down. Jerry Rice had the work ethic and the longevity.
Yeah, in terms of
if Randy Moss had Jerry Rice's work ethic, holy shit,
we probably would have been
Randy. They probably
saying different things about him.
Yes, but he just doesn't. It's okay. But it's clear that those are the 2 best receivers in NFL history. There's no way around it.
I'll take arguments for Megatron. That's valid.
I'll take Megatron arguments. I'll take on the talent wise again. Talently, yes, I will gladly. I'll gladly sit down and listen to Megatron arguments.
It's just the fact that he didn't want to stick around for much longer than he did. So
yeah, same with Barry Sanders,
and for the fact that he was stuck on the Lions.
Like Barry Sanders, damn.
Barry Sanders.
I mean, the NFL has a lot of those just dudes who either got hurt or just stuck on bad teams. NFL rings matter the least, in my opinion. I know that Tom Brady
think so,
is the
yeah.
best football player to ever grace the earth because of the rings he's won. I get that. But if you go like position by position, best player in each position, rings are the last thing I'm really thinking about.
For sure.
If I'm making all-time teams that have to play each other, again, Tom Brady doesn't make it. We can do that real quick. Shit, fuck it. Surprise NFL all-time team.
Surprise NFL all-time teams? Oh, no.
Surprise, we're doing it. So, it depends on the metric you're making this all-time team. Is this the best to ever play their position, or do they have to play the all-time defensive team? Which metric do you want to do? Because it only really changes quarterback. And we're only going to do skill position players, because I'm going to be real with you. O-line.
I do not remember all the best O-linemen across the years.
Actually,
Prior research.
Can I bullshit one real quick? Pace, Munoz, Webster. Oh fuck! I need two. I need another tackle. I need another guard. Oh hell. Joe Thomas.
I was about to say just Joe Thomas.
I need one more guard.
A guard? Oh my gosh.
Fuck, give me Larry Allen. I know he's not even the
Larry
best. He's just strong.
Be controversial. Put Quentin Nelson in there.
Shit, I might too.
Give it like 5 years, and that'll be a valid argument.
But I think we could just do the best ever.
I think the best ever.
So it's Tom Brady, without a shadow of a doubt. It's Tom Brady. If they have to play the other team, I pick Aaron Rodgers because of mobility.
Yeah, because like
if you're
skill-wise, I feel like Aaron Rodgers
if you're
is
playing
above
the
Tom
best
Brady.
defensive line of all time, which we'll get to, they're going to get through the best offensive line. So you got to move.
At least in passing situations, more often than not.
2 running backs: Barry Sanders, Walter Payton. That's it. Okay, whatever you want is. But those are my 2 best running backs. And I noticed I did put Barry Sanders 1, Walter Payton 2, because I respect Barry Sanders.
I can't even argue with that. That's what I was going to put too.
I mean, the only other ones you can really argue, you can maybe argue Eric Dickerson in there.
I wouldn't really.
I mean, Eric Dickerson did. You can argue O.J. Simpson because he did have the 2000 before the criminality. He did have the 2,000-yard season in a 14-game season.
So there was potential for him to be incredible until he was a criminal.
You could also argue Gale Sayers before his knees evaporated.
Yeah, for sure.
But Gale Sayers is what I'm gonna put in the utility player at like fantasy football. He's the goat.
The flex.
He's the flex. He's the goat
Right.
flex because he punt return, kick return, wide receiver, running back. He did it all except quarterback. Walter Payton played quarterback a little bit, but that's beyond the point.
And I will point out, we are avoiding Emmitt Smith for a reason. Because he is not in the conversation.
No, he's not in the conversation. You notice that we said all these men that are not Emmitt Smith. If you gave any of those other men Emmitt Smith's O-line, damn, no discussion.
They would all have 2,000
Barry Sanders
yard
would have
seasons.
rings. Barry
Sanders would have rings.
They'd have Lions fans would not be perpetual sadness.
The Lions would be a premier franchise in today's NFL. Think about that.
Gale Sayers would have had a career that was longer than 5 seasons.
Yes.
Again, the biases. I don't know. Falcons fan, Ethan. Bears fan, PJ.
Indeed. Although I can't really throw many Falcons players into the hat of best all time, except for prime time, maybe.
Or I always forget that D lineman in the beginning who had like 9 straight Pro Bowls to start. It's 60s, 70s. Don't be mad. None of us know. No one was watching them, Ethan.
I'm not. I don't
Ethan,
even know his name.
We can go to Georgia right. We can go to Atlanta right now and ask every fucking old head in the city. Who the fuck was playing for the Falcons in the 70s? No one would say anything because I wasn't watching the Falcons. I was a Steelers fan or some shit.
No one was watching.
I was a Dolphins fan. That's the shit they'd say.
That is what they would say.
Fullback Larry Zonska or Franco Harris. That I'm probably gonna go Franco Harris.
Franco Harris.
3 receivers.
3 receivers.
Jerry Rice, Randy Moss.
Randy Moss.
We go Megatron.
I thought we already discussed this.
Yeah. We bullshit on offensive line, so we're gonna move to the defensive side of the ball. Want to work our way up from the line or down from safety?
Let's go with the line first.
All right. So our ends, Reggie White and Deacon Jones are my 2 ends. Reggie White, Packers, Eagles.
Yeah, I'm trying to think though.
Invented the hump move, and then Deacon Jones.
Deacon Jones, of course. I can agree with Deacon Jones.
Invented the term sack, We'll never know his true numbers because they didn't track him. He invented the fucking stat. A lot of honorable mentions for defensive end. Bruce Allen, I think, all-time sack leader. Michael Strahan.
Michael Strahan for sure.
Now tied with the single season sack record with T.J. Watt. J.J. Watt is also in the conversation as well.
Right.
The problem with defensive ends is you have a lot of dudes who stand up and play outside linebacker. We're not talking about them. We'll move back with 4 linebackers, 2 inside, 2 outside.
Okay. Yeah.
And then, but for end, Jack Youngblood's another one. Honorable mention. Played on a broken leg in the Pro Bowl.
Legendary.
That was after the Super Bowl, so he had no reason to play. Literally, he just liked football that much.
Imagine the passion.
Trying to think of other ends. That's mine. I go Reggie White, Deacon Jones.
Pure ends? It's hard to argue that.
Again, other than a couple of the honorable mentions.
If it wasn't for J.J. Watt's injuries, I would definitely argue him.
Dan Hampton from the 85 Bears, too.
Dan Hampton.
And then now interior lineman, 2.
Interior lineman.
Yeah, I know there's more than 11. Don't worry about that. So
we're just naming a bunch of players to fit all the formations. Okay?
So we got Mean Joe. I think that'd be one of them. I think Mean Joe Green.
Mean Joe Green.
Definitely one of the premier interior defensive linemen of all time. Anchored the steel curtain.
Right.
Run stopper. Got to the QB.
Did everything that you could ask out of a defensive lineman.
Hard ass nickname.
Right.
I put a lot of value on hard ass nicknames.
Hey, it helps them stick in the brain. Yeah. There's a reason for that. They earn those nicknames most of the time.
Most of the time. Some people have some cold ass nicknames and they're just kind of mid.
They're kind of just there.
The problem with interior linemen, it's kind of like guards.
They do
the dirty work.
They do the dirty work that doesn't get praised.
They run stop. They take up. They're there for their mass. They take up space.
Right. I mean, Ndamukong Suh was incredible in his prime.
Incredible prime.
Man. Maybe if Aaron Donald...
Oh, no, Aaron Donald's the other one. For sure. Because Aaron Donald completely changed the game. He sacks QBs from the interior lineman position. At a number that has basically never been done before.
True.
And he's won DPOY as a nose tackle.
That is also true.
So, I think I'm going to have to go Mean Joe and Aaron Donald. I really think so. If we forgot someone like super obvious, sure, we did. We're normal. We're humans.
Our knowledge is only so vast.
Now, linebackers. So, first we start off with the crazy man himself, the best defensive player of all time, probably. Lawrence Taylor. He's one of the outside ones.
Yeah.
Inside, I'm going with my boy Dick. I'm going Dick Butkus. I'm going Ray Lewis.
Ooh. I like that.
I don't go Brian Urlacher.
As much as it pains him to say it.
It pains me to say it. Ray Lewis was better.
Ray Lewis is probably better, yeah.
Willie Gold, not Willie Gold. Oh my god. The first black middle linebacker. He was on the Chiefs. I forgot his name. Oh my god. And then, Herman Moore. And then I forgot who was Lawrence Taylor's inside linebacker partner on the Giants. Mate. He's also in that conversation as well. Mike Singletary's in the conversation. I think Dick Butkus and Ray Lewis are better football players than Mike Singletary.
I can agree with that.
Ray Nietzsche from the Packers. That era with Dick Butkus, one of the 60s, 70s type dudes, real killer.
Hard hitters.
Luke Kuechly's also, I think, in the conversation.
Mainly Luke Kuechly's in the conversation.
His coverage skills.
His combination of cover skills and run
That's what puts Brian Urlacher in that conversation somewhat too. Coverage skills, interceptions. Coverage skills,
for sure. I think Brian Urlacher, above the linebackers that you've mentioned, aside from Luke Kuechly, have the superior coverage skills.
Luke Kuechly was really just Brian Urlacher, but again.
Again.
And there's no one in the league who can really take the mantle. Like, there's no one who is going to develop into a Ray Lewis. are yet. There's like you can't sit here. Darius Leonard is the closest thing.
Darius Leonard is definitely the closest thing, but there's not really an incredibly dominant force who.
There wasn't someone like Ray Lewis and Dick Buckus who just fucking struck fear into people.
Yeah, it's because
Dick Buckus can cover people too. I mean, sure, quarterbacks were just chucking that hoe back in the day. They didn't give a shit, but he got a lot of interceptions. A lot more than you would think if you looked at him. Jack Ham is our. Oh no. Oh fuck! Our other linebacker, the Stork, Ted. Oh my god, the tall dude from the Raiders.
Oh gosh.
Oh, no.
I can picture him, but I just can't think of his name.
Ted Hendricks,
Jack
Ham. Those are other linebacker. I'd put on my fourth linebacker.
So many in the conversation.
I think I'm gonna go. Well, I've just made like the all men. Fuck it, I'm going Jack Ham because I just want players to be dead, basically at this point.
You want players to be dead?
I mean, have you seen that picture? Have you seen a picture of Jack Ham?
Yes.
He just looks insane.
He does look very insane.
We move on to corners. We'll do 3 because, nickel.
Top 3 corners. The one Falcons player we can have. Go.
You had one.
Prime time.
You finally got one.
Prime time.
Time.
Corners.
We go Dion. I think we go Champ Bailey. And I think I go Willie Brown from the Raiders.
Willie Brown
was that dude. Either we go Willie Brown or we go Night Train Lane. I mean, other corners.
Dark horse for that, Revis Island.
Yeah, Darrell Revis. I mean, Prime Revis was another dark horse. Is again, if we're talking about short, if we can, the Nimdi Asamoah on the Raiders was fucking locked down. But you can argue that was more scheme than his natural talent, I'd say.
Since that Raiders defense was very, very good.
And then the second he went to the Eagles, he imploded.
Yeah, so I suppose that is the fault.
Darrell Revis for sure, because again, Revis Island was special.
On a not so good Jets defense.
Darnell Green's another one we can, the ageless wonder.
Green.
I mean, he was running 4.340s at 40 years old. He played in his 40s as a cornerback. Charles Woodson's the super hard one to place because he played both.
Yeah, he
played corner for the Packers, then he played safety.
He's a safety in my eyes.
I think his best years were at corner, and he extended his career by playing safety.
That's fair.
I think Charles Woodson, if I had a defensive flex spot, I'd probably put him there.
I mean, the nickel kind of is. Nickel kind of is.
Again, we gotta give love to the only Heisman-winning defensive player of all time.
Of course.
So I think I actually go Dion and Night Train with Charles Woodson and the nickel. Willie Brown, Darrell Revis, Champ Bailey are all really close.
I might take Champ Bailey over Night Train Lane. But...
That's fair because of the eras.
Yeah.
If you not noticed, I made an all menace team.
Yeah, I've made an all menace team.
I really like dudes who hit hard.
That's fair.
Sometimes when you grow up a Bears fan, the monsters of the Midway. Type beat. But I think any of those options you can validly put in for cornerback.
Makes for a decent conversation, for sure.
Safeties. I go Ed Reed,
okay.
and I go Paul Krause, the all-time interceptions leader. Those are my 2 safeties. There's a lot you can argue.
I
will always throw Bob Sanders. Bob Sanders, bro. That nigga was a menace. He won DPO. Every year he was healthy, he was the best defensive player in the league as a 5'9" safety. Too bad he was hurt too.
He just got
big
hurt.
What if. Huge what if. Dontrell Roll from the Broncos, if I'm not mistaken, right? I'm trying to think, who's the 49ers one who cut off his pinky?
He cut off his pinky. Oh my goodness, who was it?
Not Dontrell Roll. Oh my god.
No, it wasn't Dontrell Roll.
No, that wasn't the one on the.
But
the name just popped up. We're sorry for forgetting about you. I forgot about Warren Sapp for defensive tackle. It's because he's a bad human being, and I purged him from my memory.
He's a bad human being.
I did put Lawrence Taylor on my team, so it's not really a valid argument. Oh my god, why are we tweaking on the 49ers safety? from their Super Bowl teams.
Why are we? Wait, who is it?
That's the one.
For safety, we can also throw Sean Taylor in there.
That's true. Ronnie Lott.
Ronnie Lott. Oh my goodness, dude.
That's the problem when there's so much history. The NFL is 100 years old. There's so many names that come through it.
So many dudes.
Brian Dawkins, we gotta show love to
Dawkins.
Clemson's only Hall of Fame football player.
Yes.
He's also in the conversation for safety.
I almost called him Daryl Dawkins, but that's somebody else.
we didn't mention Daryl Dawkins earlier. So.
Yeah, it was just in the brain.
Steve Atwater is the Broncos safety name.
Yeah.
He's a good one too.
Very.
I know Brian Dawkins also did play on the Broncos and had like one good season there, but he's sadly an Eagle claimed by the Eagles as much as it pains me to say that.
He's claimed by the Eagles, so.
GM of the 49ers when the Buccaneers, John Lynch. That's another good safety. Another great safety actually.
True.
There's not many others. I mean, safety is one of those undervalued positions.
Historically, for sure.
Yeah. And,
I think recently, just because of the Legion of Boom, their popularity skyrocketed.
Earl Thomas and Cam Chancellor making safety cool.
Yeah, for sure.
And then, of course, for fullback, since we mentioned the Buccaneers, I forgot about Mike Alstott. And we forgot about a whole offensive position, right? One that you could use another Falcons player for, and we completely forgot about. We forgot about tight end.
Oh, tight end.
Which we could fuck it. This is an NFL team. We have 3 tight ends.
We have 3 tight ends. Oh gosh.
So I think Gronk is the best tight end to ever play. I truly think that.
Okay, yeah, that's fair.
Number 2 and 3.
Killer blocks, great pass
number
catching.
2 and 3 when it gets interesting.
Tony Gonzalez.
Tony Gonzalez is number 2 because he catch better than everyone else.
He catch better than everyone else.
Number 3, you can go John Mackey. You can go Kellen Winslow. You can go Greg Olsen even. Which shows you how kind of...
Greg Olsen is a bit of a stretch.
Is a bit of a stretch? I'll give you that.
I think so. Just because he got hurt so often, I think.
That's true. The problem with tight end, again, it's a very shallow position when you look at the totality of the position. And how it's been used for the most of the NFL's time.
That's true.
Antonio Gates is definitely in that conversation.
Antonio Gates. That's right.
So number 3, we have the choices of Kellen Winslow, John Mackey, Antonio Gates, or Shannon Sharp.
I kind of like Shannon Sharp, but like I don't really want to put him there, so I'm going to say Antonio Gates.
I like Antonio Gates because Antonio Gates
he had such a long career.
He had a long career in a grueling position.
Yes.
Tight ends get fucking beat up. So.
And I feel like his career was kind of overshadowed by the fact that
Phillip Rivers and
Tony Gonzalez was also playing at the time. So
then also he was on the same team with Phillip Rivers and LT. One of the most electrifying players of all time.
So he's
also better than Emmitt Smith. Better than Emmitt Smith.
Much better than Emmitt Smith.
And then for fullback, I forgot about Mike Alstott.
Mike Alstott.
The last workhorse fullback the NFL has seen. I mean, Juszczyk is not a workhorse. No. Alstott was getting lots of carries per game for the Buccaneers. Really,
by the time that Juszczyk was popular, he was just the fullback was kind of a glorified extra pass blocker.
Extra tight end.
Extra tight end.
That's what most fullback positions on teams are filled by. Is really the last tight end on the roster does it. Just pass protection.
Moment,
He gets his one real route every 5 games. The quarterback does not look at him.
the pass or the handoff to the fullback is now a trick play.
Unless it's Juszczyk, where it's really part of their schemes. The 49ers run the weirdest scheme in the NFL.
Right.
Where everyone does everything. Except Garoppolo. He doesn't play quarterback that well.
Well, he might not be playing quarterback for them for much longer.
But Trey Lance don't look too hot damn, I wouldn't want to be Shanahan.
That's Aaron Lynch's problem, not Shanahan's. Shanahan just gets to complain about it.
And then John Lynch has to talk shit about Jimmy Garoppolo.
Oh boy.
But as the impromptu all-time NFL teams are up, if we do this concept, we will actually research it beforehand. No,
Yes.
Um,
So don't quote us on this one.
yeah. We should do. I think for future episodes, we'll definitely gonna do soccer ones. We definitely want to do those,
A soccer.
and we want to definitely do those
all-time
live
team.
because we need to work through those because there's a lot of shit we don't know about. We need to do like live research.
Live research.
NBA one is definitely good of an episode. We can definitely do all 30 teams.
Oh, we for sure could do all 30 teams.
Basically, I'm gonna look at 2K and see how wrong they are.
That's fair. That's fair.
It makes it really easy. But that's it for today's episode of the Poverty Franchise Podcast. It's been PJ.
And Ethan.